morning, guys. Welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Patera with you today. I want to talk about an important issue. I try to film videos while I work and show you what's going on the farm when it's happening, okay? So we've talked before about injury on a homestead with you. We've talked about death on a homestead in terms of your animals. We've also talked about why it's important for you to be prepped for emergencies in terms of care for your animals. Well, I want to talk today about, again, just to touch on the subject, is the fact that when you have a homestead and you start taking on these animals, things happen. Doesn't matter how good of a care you provide for your animals, you step away for 1 hour and something can happen. So, we have developed a stall, which is partly for utility. It's called the utility stall. But I also call it the broody stall because it's completely wired in, just about completely wired in. And it allows us to keep animals separate from others if they are broody, if we have some chicks, and also if we have a sick hen. I tend to pull them in here. And I also have dog cages and crates and things of that sort that I utilize a lot for these emergencies. The whole theory of things come in threes tend to be kind of a serious fact as well. So what I'm telling you is don't expect to just have one thing happen. It's like one thing will happen one day and you'll think you've got it handled, and the next day something else is going to happen, and then the next day something else is going to happen. You have to be prepared in multiple facets. So we're going to go over some of these things today, and I'm going to talk to you about what's going on in this stall and how I'm handling it so far, and so far it's working very well. So let's get started. So I'm going to flip the camera around and show you what I'm talking about in terms of my utility, infirmary, baby broody stall. It's important to have this type of setup in some way if you can do it. So let's get started. You can clearly see that there's always an issue on the farm. Animals, like, you see all these beautiful pictures and videos and everybody's so cute and doing all these things, and for the most part everybody on my farm gets along. But you do have squabbles, you do have competition, you do have hierarchy, you do have pecking order, you do have roosters that are treading, you have all sorts of issues. You combine a lot of animals with all of these natural things that go on with animals in nature, period, which you want them to, you can have injuries. So let me tell you what I've got going on here. I have just transitioned what you're seeing right here. Do you see this? I've got these little scooters in here. They have been moved out of their brooder. They are feathered out and they are doing quite well. So this is my cream leg bar and my blue Sumatra mixes. They have taken this dog cage. They have their straw and their hay and their DE and their food and their water and their apple cider vinegar. No issue here. But this stall allows for this type of setup. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. That's a rooster. That's a cream leg bar rooster. So, I apologize if the camera got a little fuzzy, guys. I'm going in and out with different type of settings. But my point is so this in here is my broody stall. You've seen it before. We have it completely caged in, okay? We did that on purpose so that it keeps everybody, for the most part, out. Now, occasionally you'll have somebody somehow creeped in, so we do have to watch for that. But for the most part, it's been very successful. So this is allowed for this. Prior to me taking this cage out and cleaning it, held 2 hens. First it held 1, which is this pretty girl right here. This is one of my mature black copper Morans. You can also see that she's been treaded on. Clearly she's a favorite, and she is still laying eggs. She was stepped on by one of the cows about 2 weeks ago. Wasn't sure if she had a broken leg, wasn't sure if we had a broken wing. It was kind of like she was sidewalked. She just sort of went to the side. She was still eating, she was still drinking, she was still laying eggs. So what I did is I brought her in here and I put her in this cage. And I left her in here for a couple of days to assess the injury and the potential of her. Well, after about 3 or 4 days, we quickly saw that she was eating, she was drinking in this cage, she was trying to get around, I was giving her everything that I could in terms of supplements and everything. She was still even laying eggs. So I hung with it. Well, here she is. Now she is still in what I'm calling this place as my infirmary stall. So she has access outside the cage. She can fully walk. She's roosting. I got the most gorgeous egg yesterday that I'm actually going to put in the incubator because we're still within a period where I think her eggs are fertilized. She is eating. In this feed right here, I have my natural herbs, my herbal mix. I'll talk about that in a minute. So this was a success case. Not ready to put her back yet. Case number 2. So while the Moran was in the cage over here, this girl was treaded on too hard by one of the roosters, and it made her wing bleed, and it broke it off. So I have brought her in here. I'm treating her, and she's loving it. She's a little bit more fussy than the Moran. She tries to boss the Moran. So for a couple of days, they were both in here. I had to transition the waters and feeds a lot and give them fresh bedding, but they were both getting along. You know, you had a little bit of a bossiness moment. I was monitoring it. They were getting along for the most part very well. As you can see, they are both doing just fine and getting along just fine. So we're going to have them, you know, in this separate stall for a couple of days before I dare release them back into the flock. They will for sure have a hen saddle. They will each be marked with a specific hen saddle, so I will know who is who and what is what. So that way I know what the deal is. Right now they're getting some herbs, they're getting sprayed a little bit, they're just getting a break. But my point is when things happen with your hens, you have to be willing to pull them. You have to have somewhere for them to go. Okay, so you can see their backs are a little bit ridden. I don't have a hen saddle on them. When I'm treating a hen and she's separate, I take everything off. I want her to be completely exposed. I want to be able to spray her, to treat her, assess her, nothing hidden, the whole 9 yards. Now, over here, we have a new case. And it's a pretty serious case, actually. This girl, yesterday, I walked past one of the stalls in the back, and she was in the corner. It looked like she might have been trying to lay an egg, but I wasn't for sure. There was no one else with her. There was no distress. Went on about my morning chores. I came back around, I would say 30 minutes later. Kept walking back and forth, and I noticed she was tucked in the corner. Her head was tucked in the corner of the stall, and 3 hens, non-aggressively, if I can claim that, were pecking her back. They have pecked out an entire portion of her back. Here's the question. I did not note any injury to her the first time. Maybe I should pay more attention. Obviously, I'm going to have to just absolutely be, magnifying everything. Because clearly she had something small going on. It wasn't anything that I noticed by peeking in the stall and walking around. So that should give you a keynote. You have to pay attention. Had I seen that, I would have been able to grab her, treat her, and maybe the second portion of what I'm telling you would not have happened. But note this, I picked her up. She was being cannibalized by 3 other hens, people. They were just pecking at her like velociraptors, and she was taking it. She was not fighting them. She was not running. She was in the corner. I never had heard or noted a squabble prior. I mean, I'm walking back and forth. I'm taking feed here, food there, whatever. You can see we have a little bit of an issue here. She might just be picked on. But the point is once an injury starts, especially if you see blood, they will cannibalize themselves or the others. Not themselves, but meaning, chicken to chicken. That's no lie, people. So I've had to pull her, and you can see what I immediately did is I treated her with betadine, let that dry, washed it out really good. I then have put in Vatiricin spray. We have talked about this. If you do not have this on your farm, go today and buy it. You can get it at your co-op, Tractor Supply, whatever. I don't care if it's $15 or $20. I'm telling you, it's going to save you a lot of heartache. After this dried, I then came back with Blue Coat, which is why you're seeing all this purple on their backs. That is also a good spray to use in a pinch, and it will transform the color from red to a dark blue. It's a germicidal, fungicidal, antiseptic spray as well. It's good for more topical issues. This one up here is more for, in my opinion, deep wound. So I went with this first. I let it kind of dry. Then I came back with this. For quick moments, you know, non-deep wounds, I typically spray this. I'm going to be honest with you. If I see if it's a deeper gash, more of a, you know, a problem, then I always start with the other, which is the Vatiricin. So I just want to show those to you really quick. So I brought her in here. She had a small cage. I'm going to try to let her out in here with these two other hens because her wound is healed. It's pretty covered in terms of the actual wound care and color discoloration. It's purple, not red. And I'm about to put this on her. Now that may not work. I'm going to monitor this today. I really don't want to keep her in a small cage. I want her out and about because all three of these hens are still my egg layers. So I want them to have some freedom. And see, they still have contact with the flock through the chicken wire. I want them to have contact as much as possible. So eventually, if they do really well, which so far they are, I can transition them back with the flock. But it's a day-by-day process. Again, this goes back to, you've got to have your supplies on hand. Hen saddles are extremely valuable for your flock. Even if you just have 5 or 3. It's valuable because it's going to protect them. It's not just for the roosters and treading, yes, but clearly, this girl in particular back here, this is not a treading issue. It's actually, the gash is lower than where a rooster would even tread and put his spurs or his claws. I think she was picked on. So we're going to have to monitor this. Also, I promised you that I would show you, I did another video on this just last week. This is my herb mix. The herb biotic herb mix for all kinds of things. So I put it in their feed. I put a pinch in their feed. So guys, the point of the video is to keep an eye on your flock very, very closely. It goes back to several other things I've said before. You have to be willing to do barn checks, coop checks. You have to be willing to act accordingly. You have to be willing to pay attention and work with these girls. Now, some folks don't have that attitude. Something happens, they're done with them. I don't take that route. That's not the route that I've chosen. And 9 times out of 10, when I really try to assess and help my hens and even my roosters, I've pulled them through problems. Why invest in money in these egg layers to have on my farm just to give up on them with a little bit of extra work and a little bit of extra problems? They're going to have issues just like human beings. It's just part of the percentage facts, okay? I hope this helps you out. I hope it makes sense. It's a little winded, but I wanted to go through my infirmary here. So all 3 of these girls are going to get hen saddles here in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and put hen saddles on them. And every day, twice a day, I'm going to be assessing their wounds and just making sure they're getting around good, and they're going to stay in this stall. But I'm also going to be assessing how well they're getting along. So far, they're getting along really well. I would prefer for her to obviously be out of the cage. She's getting along very well with the other 2. I want her to have her freedom. I think that's better if possible, but it must be monitored. I hope this helps you out. Look how fast those little scooters have eaten that fresh food right there. Isn't that amazing? Always amazed. All right, guys, just giving you a quick look at what we're doing here. I hope this helps you out. I know it's a lot of talking, but it's a lot to talk about. Fresh feed, fresh water, fresh herbs, fresh care, and we'll talk to you soon. And let's get a quick pic of these sweethearts. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, and we will talk to you soon, guys.